Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna let some people flow in and we'll get started here. Sebastian, good morning. All right, a few more seconds, we're gonna get going. We got some news coming in. Fed Chair Powell speaking. And we also have some 10 o'clock numbers coming out. Which unfortunately means that we're gonna have some time to wait. Some time to sit around and observe, watch some paint dry. But good morning, good afternoon. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're doing well. All right, let's get this thing going. Get my little face up there. Can everybody hear me okay? Everybody see me okay? If not, please let me know. All right, just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research. All right, here we go. So I'm going to start out on the NASDAQ as always. There's a few instruments right now that are presenting signal days. So that'll be good. We'll be able to see, will that signal day play out? And I've put some notes up here on the screen for all of these for today because I wanted to, come in and organize my thoughts and make sure that I'm getting everything across, all the details out there. So on the NASDAQ, I'm looking at a 15-minute chart. I'll zoom out here, and obviously we've been going up, okay? They've had all of these days now going higher without triggering the other side of the range. That's very important. They have not triggered the previous day's low on any of these days, which means there's no lower low in place on a daily scale. There is no signs of reversal at this point. It just keeps going higher. We're probably in a bit of an extended run. We've got breakout day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've been going one way for quite some time. All right, those are all like little details to notice. I've got 3 days of breakouts. That's my signal. We've closed in breakout. We've closed outside of a previous day's range. So this is where things start to, I start to analyze the details based off of the last couple of days, right? We're looking for 3-day opportunities, things to present over the course of 3 days or build up over the course of 3 days. And then knowing what day of the week it is. Today's Tuesday. So we can have expansions of the opening range, the high and the low of the current week. We could be seeing expansions to the upside or the downside. And we've been in an up moving market. All right, we closed in breakout yesterday. So whenever I have a market that is closed in breakout, it's only going to be capable of doing 3 things, as you all well know. So I project this breakout level across. We've closed in breakout. And either this breakout is going to succeed, we're going to break out, we're going to pull back, and we're going to continue to go higher, in which case I likely would not execute the trade because we've been in this extended run. I don't want to get caught in the trap. Or it could break down and go sideways and hopefully reverse the range back towards the other side, which would be going back towards the previous day's low. which going back towards the previous day's low, we could see a reset of this trend. We've been in a strong up move. They trigger the previous day's low, and the market continues to go higher, and that could be in the coming days. Or this is the beginning of the reversal. We trigger previous day's low. That's the lower low. Maybe we get a first red day today, and then it rolls over in the rest of the week. I don't know. So for today, we had a close in breakout, and I've got my level projected across. We've made a higher high in Asia, and we broke down and made a lower low coming into New York. So now we've pumped it back up in 3 bars on a 15-minute chart, and I'm going to sit here and wait. Okay, we got Powell speaking. Can't do anything before he starts speaking. Can't do anything before 10 o'clock, the job openings, which will, give us some time to sit around and talk to one another. Maybe look at the charts a bit and see what's going on. Okay, maybe we can go study a few setups or something like that, since we've got all this time. All right, so this is the NASDAQ, like I said, 3 days breakouts. We get a lower low. I'll just highlight that. We had the higher high come in Asia, which confirms a swing low, and they've came down now and broke that swing low. Okay, and then after breaking, we've come up in 3 15-minute bars, and now we're just going to pump back up. All right. I'm not going to say I like or dislike. I would say that at least I know exactly what to look for. Probably not my favorite template or anything like that, but at least I know exactly what I'm waiting for. So for that, I kind of like NASDAQ a little bit. Okay, US 30 15-minute chart, very similar in a lot of these indexes, 3 days of breakouts. If I zoom out, you can just see, the strength of this move. This thing is going very strongly to the upside, very parabolic, going stronger or towards expanding the range higher. That's what I'm trying to say. Holy cow. But we do have 3 days of breakouts, so that tells me, hey, are we either in an extended run, which obviously I think we are. But for today, does that have any relevance to what I should be looking for? Again, we closed in breakout, so I project that level across. And unlike the NASDAQ, yes, we came up and made a higher high. The lower low was created yesterday. Failed to go lower off that double bottom. Now we've tried to go higher again, and we succeeded. So we're in between a low and we're in between a high, and we're just sitting in consolidation. So I think that, here, I'll just highlight that. So we've been going up. It breaks and goes lower. When this happens, this is a bit of a trading range, and I need to wait for further confirmation of the trade since it's happened over the course of multiple days. There's nothing wrong with that. I just like to see, I need to see some good confirmation. So basically what I'm saying is we're sitting in between this high here and this low. So we're just sitting in consolidation. We got a peak low, peak high, a bit of a box. Now we have a rectangle formed, and we have to wait and see. Joseph, hello to you. Paulie, hello, good morning. Mr. Mustang, how do you do? All right, cool. So between these two indexes, I don't really have anything crazy. I have not opened this and jumped out of my seat and said, hey, that's perfect. That's the trade. And with these 3 days of breakouts trades, that happens quite frequently. It makes the lower low after 3 days of breakouts, and a lot of times it'll just keep going. I would say that out of the signals, the 3 days breakout signal, a lot of times is the least reliable. Anyways, let's go on to gold. I was actually shocked the way that this has broke out immediately at the beginning of the day and just pulled and pulled and pulled. Now, yesterday was a first green day, and it was a very textbook appearing first green day because we had a peak formation high put in last Thursday. Market's been going down. Okay. Peak formation high put in last Thursday. That could have been the higher high. Day one runs down, closes in breakout. Then yesterday we had an attempt to go lower that has failed, and then put in a first green day. Okay, so we had a day that opened, attempt to go beyond the extreme and fails, and then closed above the open, and also closed above the previous day's close, which is a bit of a bonus. Even better than that, I think that today, we had this close in breakout, and then now today, you can kind of see the trap volume down low, where they've got peaks and peaks and peaks, immediately trapping shorts, making a higher high and pulling back, and starting a new line of structure. What's the most reliable signal? Inside bars are really good, and first red and first green days. So I think that days going from a period of contraction to an expansion, so an inside bar, very reliable. And then first red and first green days, really like to see those. And then for 3-day opportunities, just based off of previous day's highs and lows, market go up, trigger previous day's low, pump it back up to the high, and then you get the dump. Or in the other direction, right? So something like this. We triggered the high, we've dumped it back down, and now we've dumped off of the higher high. And then now we're pumping back towards the high, which we've already triggered. Those are also extremely reliable. So where does that lead us for today? What does this do for me as far as today? We've got 3 sessions of breakout coming off of a fresh new bottom, and we've pumped it all the way back up. So is the probability of them reversing back down to this level very high? No. Is it 0? No. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark this up. I don't even have a structural level really that I can go off of, so I can't mark anything up. We've just been pulling in one direction all day long. So likely not much that I can do with this today. Okay. I might have to wait. First green day, breakout day 1, and maybe we'll see later this week. Must find out exactly. Hey, so we got some time, Joseph. I'll talk to you about it. We can all kind of chit-chat about, different types of 3-day opportunities. It's basically a 3-bar pattern, and sometimes it can be extended into a 4-bar pattern, or even sometimes a 5-bar pattern, or a 7-day pattern. But I'm mainly focusing just on, if it's a 5-day pattern or a 7-day pattern, there's still the previous 3 days or the previous 4 days that can be looked at, and usually that pattern is good enough. You don't have to track all 5 or all 7 days because it just becomes a lot to look at. But we'll chit-chat about the different 3 and 4 bar patterns here in a second. Gold. So anyways, let's go on to the Russell. And I actually think the Russell has some good potential coming into the open. And the reason being is because we've had the template's just a little bit different, all right? The appearance of the chart is a little bit different. We had a large pumping day coming off of Thursday of last week. Went back up through the previous day's high in a 3 peaks pattern and broke down, spiking through the low and then pumping back up. So I've talked about this before. Anytime the market attempts to make a new extreme in the opposite direction, this is going to create a first mouse scenario. And this is where a lot of the 3-day setups actually can come from. Because this is the first mouse, they have to go back and they have to try and go higher first because the market has been going up. So it's not just going to immediately start going down. It's going to attempt to go down, succeed, and then say, well, it was capable of going lower, but before we go lower, let's attempt to go higher first. And if that attempt to go higher fails, that's where the 3-day setups can come in. Okay. So we have a breakdown and a lower low, then we get an inside bar and a first red day. So today I'm looking for lower lows and lower highs to be presenting, and on the day we've triggered previous day's low in the London session. So this could have been a London session opportunity, and it looks like maybe it started right at the end of London, unfortunately. So the timing is weird. But again, lower low, triggered previous day's low, popped it back up. And now we're getting some follow through. Lower low, lower high. Breaks down and goes lower. Okay. We don't have any pop-up yet, so the lower low is not in place yet. We're just going, currently still, we are still going lower. There is no low confirmed because I don't have 2 bars of pullback yet. All I have is this lower high. So I'm not even going to mark that. The top or the bottom of a box has now became the top of a box. So previous day's low. And my low is not in place. We're just going lower. I've got my, where the pump has began, I've got that marked off because that's the level for the 3-day setup. We have a lower low. They've popped it back up. I have a feeling if I look at this on a, which I have not done yet, so I might eat my words, but oh my gosh. I'd have to change my settings a little bit, but on a 100 pip box, I have a feeling this is probably 3 levels of rise, and now we're reversing back down. Okay, back to where that pump has began. Okay, we dropped it down, gone into consolidation. So we're waiting for Powell to speak. He's probably started speaking now. I think it was at 9:30. And let's go on to oil. I think oil might still be, yeah, unfortunately. Okay, I have marked off some levels on oil because we dropped down last Monday and we've been going sideways. All right, this is all garbage. This is nonsense. Best way to get chopped up is trading inside of here. I don't know which way it's going to go. Look at this. We just got random explosive moves coming out of nowhere, coming off the highs and the lows. Basically a trading range, right? So I could play the trading range and, you know, try and sell the high and buy the low, but I just choose not to do that. I don't like trading ranges. I think that they're too unpredictable. It feels very 50-50. So I just avoid them. So what I am going to do is I'm going to focus my attention to the NASDAQ because although I don't think it's necessarily the best template that I've ever seen, as far as knowing what to look for, everything's there. We've got a lower low. We've got 3 days of breakouts, an extended run that could be coming to an end, maybe, you know, potentially. So we've got a lower low. We popped it back up. We might have people, you know, this breakout could be failing. Maybe we're going to see a run towards previous day's low. So I'll wait for evidence. Now, I don't know if I'm right. We could see a strong reversal back up towards the high in a trend trade opportunity or a trend opportunity. You know, they've just broken down and made a lower low. Maybe we're going to go back to try and go higher. I don't know. So I'm going to look for evidence. We're going to wait for that. I've got the lower low. I'm waiting for 3 pushes. We do have an engulfment as well. So this is the highest close in this up move. We have a bar that is now closed below there. So maybe this is push 1 and push 2 and then push 3. And then we've broken back down. Or is this evidence that they're not letting out P2? Are we about to rip down and trap P2 and hold them there? I don't know. So we'll see. US 30. Okay, we're in breakout. We're making higher highs. We've gone back into consolidation off the open. We have a very large up close bar that is not closed at its highs, but still is a breakout bar. We've broken out. Not as strong of a thesis on US 30. I don't really know what I'm waiting for. I could wait for them to go back to previous day's high and see what happens from there. But other than that, this kind of looks like maybe it's just a trend. And that's fine. Gold. Okay, gold. Again, I'm not really sure what I'm waiting for. We have pulled back, so we have a high confirmed. Over here, this is the first place that I can see, other than maybe like back over here. Not even back over here. This is the first place where they've pulled off the high enough that I can actually mark this thing off. Holy cow, that could not have been any more loud. Where I can mark the high off and say, hey, this is my confirmed swing high, but I don't even know where my low is. I think my low is all the way back down here. As far as like a swing low. Okay, so I don't really know what to do with gold. I'm going to let that one go. Russell, I've just explained. Okay. Maybe we get a strong reversal coming off the low of the day, and I'm completely wrong. We'll have to wait and see. Oil, no idea. So looks like the main focus today just needs to be, for me at least, the NASDAQ and the Russell. Narrowing things down. Okay, I've got the Russell down here, bottom right. I've got NASDAQ up here. And a reminder, we do have news at 10. So it might be smart, especially since Powell is speaking, it might be smart for me to just wait until 10. There might be setups that show up before then, but it's probably smart for me to just wait until 10. We will see. If something presents so perfectly that I can't ignore it, maybe. It's very quiet out there today. I think we've only got about 50 people in here right now, which is fine. If you all are in here and you're enjoying, please like the stream. Maybe say hello. Is there anything you all are looking at or want to see? Oh, I wanted to explain and talk to Joseph. You had asked about the 3-day opportunities. Because this entire trading system in general, really how the market moves. Hey, Z, how you doing? Let's see. I've got NQ up on my other screen, so I'll be able to monitor. Okay, you're going to notice that a lot of the templates, they always seem to start with a failed breakout. Okay, a lot of the 3-day templates only have or start with a failed breakout. So this 3-day opportunity has began with a higher high. Okay, we had a low, and then they've came up and made a higher high. Now, when this happens, the idea is that they're going to come back down, remember, and retest a low. And if that low fails, there might be a trade setup that presents. So, for example, we have failed breakout, which could be a higher high, into a dump, into a first green day, which is a potential failure of this. So this turns into a 3-bar, into a 4-bar pattern. And the trade came in Asia. It was an Asian session trade. First green day, higher high, breakout. Asia opens up and runs. Okay, so it was a 3-bar pattern, and then on the opening of the 4th day in the Asian session, you get the run. Okay. So some takeaways. These pumps for dumps and dumps for pumps, a lot of times, most of the time, pretty much every time, they're going to begin with a failed breakout of a daily level. Okay, market's been going down. It attempted to go higher. Okay, it made it. It succeeded. It was capable of getting up there. Let's try and go lower. It succeeded, but then the next day it fails. It failed to go lower over the course of 2 days. And then you get this large parabolic move today. Okay, so that's one example. Now, unfortunately, this trade happened in Asia, right? Ideally, realistically, we'd be hoping to see this in New York because that's the session that we're trading. And here's a good example of where the trade doesn't work out. I said that trades begin with failed breakouts. Here's a failed breakout. So we're going lower. attempts to go higher break out the next day, and the breakout succeeded. Okay. And instead of failing either the next day or over the course of 2 days, now we're just in breakout down. They tried to go higher. They broke down, broke out, and we're failing to go back up. So the breakout's succeeding. So this template turns into something different. Now we're in a breakout template. Breakout, inside bar, 3 levels of rise, first red day, continuation. So it's turned into, again, a 3-day pattern, or really a 4. Because you have your failed breakout leading to a breakout. So this, arguably, this could be the first day because this is breakout day 1. So we'll call this the first bar in the pattern because that's the first day that we've broken out. We've broken down. This was a reset, breaks out, breaks down. Bar 1 in the pattern. Bar 2 in the pattern was an inside bar, which is a part of the template. And then bar 3 was the continuation of the breakout, which also turns into a first red day. So now we have an evolution of the template because you have pump, first red, and then first red day continuation. So there's lots of different ways that you can probably be looking at it. Humble trader, the volume is too low. Is my volume too low? If it's too low, let me know. Let me try and get this thing closer to my face. Okay. So Joseph, I don't know if you're still in here. Hopefully you are. I wonder if I could lock this thing down. It's fine. Okay. That might still be a little bit better. NQ is dumping. Let's sit here and take a look at, we'll watch NQ for a second together. This is the, I don't know why I have this up here twice. Okay, we've had this pretty strong 1-2 coming back down. A bit of a sideways. Uh-oh. Right at the end of the bar, are we not going to close it strongly closing down? I told you I'd be willing to take something if it was perfect. Is that perfect? Eh, not really. Yeah, Joe, so I'm going to revisit. I'm going to look at more examples. I just noticed that NQ was doing things, so I wanted to make sure I was paying attention. Okay, US 30, looking like possibly or probably that trend trade, breakout pullback. At the lowest closing bar in the down move. Interesting. Do you watch the bid-ask levels when choosing pairs to trade? No, I don't. Joseph. You're asking about like the spread. I think that I note when I'm watching something and we're approaching a level, and like one little thing that I'll note is the spread will open. And if it keeps on flicking into a level and opening the spread, it's pretty concerning. You know, if, like let's say for example, I'm long on something and they're flicking up into the high and opening the spread. There's a potential or a strong chance that they might be about to reverse that on me, because they're actively trapping at the high with the spread. So there's like little things I'll take note of, but I don't necessarily use it for pair selection. One, two, three, pin hammer. Lowest close. We have a bar that's broken out of that bar's high. So you got one bar coming back up at least. We're probably about to get the second, so that means that our low will be in place off of this consolidated double bottom. Hey Sam, how did you? Hope you're doing good. Haven't heard from you. I guess y'all haven't really heard from me either, but it's very quiet in here. I feel like maybe I should, if I'm going to keep doing these live streams, turn on some music or something. I don't know. Okay, so we've got a really strong down close bar on the NASDAQ, two breakout bars to the downside. So just reading what should happen based off of what the market is, you know, what the price is doing, and then what is actually happening, compare and contrast. We have a very strong down close bar, breakout bar, and we have a second entry short, basically a bar that's closed lower than the first one. So we'd have the first bar here, which would be considered first entry short, and then we have one closing lower than that bar, which would be your second entry short. And then instead of going lower, which based off of these two bars here, we're in a downtrend, we're making lower lows. You get your engulfment, you get your second attempt to go lower, and then the next bar goes vertical to the upside. That's kind of strange. Price action wise. Volume is too low for me. Holy cow. Ackman, hello. Good to see you too. Good to see you too. My monitors went crazy. Okay. No, Paul, I was just sitting here explaining I'm sitting here watching how NASDAQ is consolidating. We're 10 minutes away from this news. Talking about, you know, what should happen based off of price, you know, this breakout to this pullback, right? We've got a pullback, a lower low, we got a pullback. This bar closed lower than this bar's low, and then it consolidated a bit longer, and then this bar closed lower, which would be like your second entry short, or your, you know, this is really where it should follow through. And then instead of following through on another somewhat, it was a strong down close bar at one time. Whip back up here. Instead of following through, we have a bar on the very next bar breaking out to the upside. Okay, that is an indication to me that what should happen is we should go down. And what is happening is they've trapped shorts and are making a run up. So that tells me to not execute. It also tells me that I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. I'm sitting here waiting for this 3 days of breakout setup. We got a lower low. Realistically, and I said this at the beginning, realistically, we've been in an up-moving market in an extended run. This is a very strong move. Longs are more likely. I'm just not going to take those because that would be me trading a direction. Okay, and I don't really want to do that. I'd rather wait for a template opportunity, something that I'm comfortable with. Market having gone up for 5 days and then breaking out and pulling back and then looking like it's going to go up again today is not a setup. Feels like a range. Could be. High and low of day. I think that NASDAQ has, again, nothing is certain, right? NASDAQ has higher potential for what you just said, as well as I thought that, maybe the Russell as well, because of the lower low, which is why I wanted to focus on those two, because they had aspects of a trade setup actually showing up. They had characteristics of a setup showing up. Now things look a little bit different, and I would say that there's a good chance that I'm wrong about that thesis. But as far as US 30 goes, US 30 is only, we're just in breakout to the upside. So this trending opportunity, kind of makes sense. Oh boy, I gotta sneeze. Oh, it's gonna hurt. Jeez. Thanks. Will I trade during the news or do I wait for it to cool off? Always wait for it to cool off. I always wait for it to cool off. I try not to get in before. There are some times when the setup shows up and it's, 45 minutes or an hour before the news. And I'm a little bit more willing to take it then because, we could see a blow off prior to the news. But I'm going to use smaller size. I'm going to have a lot more conservative targets if I do that. However, I'm never in the market when the news is approaching. So if I do that, it's 30, 45 minutes before the news. I'll be in it for maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then I try to get out. And then once the news happens, I'll wait 5, 10 minutes and see where we're at. Tuesday extended the range. Yep. It sure did. Off to hello to you as well. NASDAQ is looking juicy. Yeah. And I'm liking the fact that, maybe this second drive, maybe I was wrong. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe I've said, okay, this is the engulfment, so this was push 1 and 2, and maybe this was 3. Maybe this is actually 1 and then 2, and then this is 3. So if we get another high bull engulfment going down, this would be 3 attempts to go back up after the lower low. Maybe. Especially if the news takes place and it doesn't, it fails to go back up again. We've got the breakout level from yesterday projected across. If this breakout fails, could be good. However, if they just keep trapping shorts and going higher, then obviously that's wrong. Gold, I have no idea. All right, I've literally got it up on the screen as a filler. Breakout 1, 2, 3 to the high. All right, we got 1 minute to the news. We got job openings, manufacturing. Possibly push 1, push 2, push 3. So what I would be looking for on this is, number 1, I don't want to enter into something where one side's getting trapped. So I would want to see these people start making money, the shorts. If this is that trade, right? If this bar closes like this, then they just put in a higher low. And it could very easily just do this. However, what I would actually want to see to take a trade would be these guys who are previously trapped start making money. We break down, we go sideways, and then we continue to break down, allow these people to make money, in which case I would be looking to enter. Okay, there's our news. Upon entry to use limit or market. I usually either use market or a stop order Mustang. Yeah, off to, I agree. Excuse me, man. I'm just sniffling. It's an up-close candle, but it's the wrong color. Interesting. Yes, Paulie. I used to have it up, in my watch list, and I found that I never traded it. I never really. If I found a trade on S&P, normally the same trade will either show up on US 30 or Nasdaq. So I was like, well, I don't need to watch all of these. Apparently, I'm allergic to being on the computer today because I just cannot stop sneezing. Thanks. I swear I have not sneezed in the past 2 days. And then I started the stream today and I can't stop. Oh, it's getting ridiculous. Off too, maybe. It could be. Heck yeah. Craziness. Okay, we got a down closed bar breaking out of the previous bar's low. We got a big pin hammer. Not allowing these guys to make money yet. Boy, the paint is drying mighty slow today. Take it easy, Paulie. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm trying to do these streams every day. God bless. Yeah, I'm trying to do these streams every day. So if y'all are having to go and do whatever, you're not missing much because I'll be back tomorrow. And at least one day this week, there will be a good setup. In most cases. All this waiting will be worth it. That's true. And that's a big reason why I like trading after 9:30 gains is because it eliminates all that time that you could have entered into silliness. If I know that the better trades are going to come after 9:30, why am I taking trades before 9:30? In most cases. So it's nice to just, I don't even, show up until 9:15 coming into 9:30. Look at this. So they put in this bar right here. And I bet you anything, maybe even one of you in here has taken this. They put in this higher low. Imagine if this bar starts closing higher again. We're going to squeeze these shorts out. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. We could continue to break down, which would be great. I'm just thinking, I always think about both sides of the trade. Both sides of, what if I had done this here? How would I be feeling? Because that's where the psychology of the chart's going to start to play out. Oh, man. All right, so we're about 8 minutes after the news now. Sitting in consolidation. No reason to enter. No reason to enter. We've got a big up push, drive, pause, 2-3, inside bar. Possibly even a higher high. Maybe Powell is still speaking. He might be. Was he speaking today, or was he testifying, or what was he doing? A lot of times on the news it'll say he's speaking, but he's testifying. And sometimes, back and forth. I don't know. Was he saying anything important other than good morning? Intraday. Good to see you here. Y'all, if you've got a TikTok, go check out Intraday on TikTok. This man tags me in every single, he posts every single day his trade. And he tags me every single day in his trade. It's good stuff. Okay, we had a down close bar. We got a bar that's hit both sides of the range. It tried to go up, tried to go down. It succeeded at going back down. Then we get an inside bar. I'd be curious to see how this bar closes. Or if we're just going to keep trapping at the low. very consistently this week and last week and the week before that. Not every day, but a lot of days. Okay. Before the session begins, the market has been doing this where it will make a large run and then off the open have some sort of drive and then just spend the entire day in consolidation. Not saying that's what's happening here. I don't know. But it's been making these pre-market runs and then even making a small drive maybe in the open of the market, but then just holding it sideways after that. Like yesterday on the NASDAQ. Holy cow. All right. 9:30 open, big drive, rest of session. What are you doing with that? Nothing. Okay. So I'm still watching this. I'm still thinking these guys are caught. They're not letting them out. And I keep on squeezing to go higher. Which is exactly what we talked about. So this is this was a good read. Good live time read. I didn't execute and get anything out of it. It just kept me out of trying to go the other way. Which I think is just as important. Carlo, hello. Hello, hello. What other pairs you all watching? Any Forex pairs? Anything that y'all want to take a look at? Since we're just watching this paint dry for like the third day in a row. Mr. Mustang says he is long on the NASDAQ. Okay. I don't know where you got along from, but that looks like it was probably like a crazy. What would you be looking for in oil? I'm going to keep oil real simple. I'm in a box. This box is crap. It is trash. I don't want to do anything until I come out of that box. Okay? No template matters to me while we're still on the inside of this box. When we come out of the box and we start closing either higher or lower, I can start looking for 3-day templates again. Looking like maybe those longs are the easy trade for the day. Australian dollar looks good. Okay, let's go take a look. Paulo, good morning. Trap and shift gains. Are you talking about shifting towards the up, or you think they're going back down? On a larger scale, yeah. Let's see here. We just came off this low, which is a first green day. I get breakout day one. Then we get an inside bar. A range expansion of that inside bar. Then you get another inside bar, followed by another breakout. Which they have not completed a full expansion of. Day one, two, three. We're into the third day of breakouts. I think that'd be tough. I mean, it's going higher. Is gold still a possibility for you this session? I had no idea what I was looking for on gold, Paulo. We came off of a first green day from yesterday. That was an Asian session trade, and it has just gone up, 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 and away. And I think that was the trade that I should have executed, was in Asia. So therefore, I don't really have much that I can do. I just have it up on the screen as a filler. Tony, yeah, I was looking at it as it's a bullish situation. All right, we need to go back to NQ here. US 30 is just pulling. Look at that thing. That is a blow off and a half. Stopped out break even. It is interesting because now they've been spiking up. All right, now they're ascending the lows, which means they could just continue to squeeze higher, but we're going to see. We will see. All right, I'm extremely hydrated. We're going to take a 5-second intermission. I'm coming right back. Well, That's nuts. Let's see. Let's see. We've got a wedge top and a bit of a flat bottom. Is this a final attempt to get people to short before going vertical to the upside? Or is it actually going to continue to break down? All other indexes are going up. I have not taken any trades, Max. I've just been watching indexes squeeze higher. And I was really only focused on the NASDAQ and the Russell because they had made lower lows. And the potential for a breakout failing on the NASDAQ was looking decent. So I was watching to see, are we going to do that? Came down on a 1 minute chart. We just whipped through the low and put a little inside bar. We got 50 seconds left on this 5 minute bar. Still not letting out the shorts. Okay, we got a lower close. Sort of. Barely. This would be the third attempt to go lower. This is the third attempt to go higher. You meant pound dollar? I'll have to go look at it a little bit. Okay, I've got my NASDAQ chart open to a 1 minute chart. looking for a 5-minute bar close, similar to what it looks like right now. And then looking for it to follow through the low of the day, about, 50 or so pips down through the low of the day, triggering previous day's low. Yep, it came down and tapped in just a little bit. Thinking background music might be a nice add to your stream. I have to agree. It's very quiet in these down moments. I like it quiet, yeah. Okay, so we've broken down. We got a decent 5-minute bar close. Are we going to go sideways now to get the little follow through? Low of day minus 50? Or are we just going to tap in barely and then go back up? Are we going to double bottom from here? Oh my goodness, it is coming off that low, and it is on a 1-minute chart, it is just squeezing higher. Probably going to blow through there. All right, so we've, like I said, we've broken down, we've gone sideways. are we now going to get the follow through? Okay, and I'm out. I got triggered in, and I got taken out pretty much all in the same tick. Cool. I did low of day minus 50, and I just got out. Okay. I had to sit through a little bit of drawdown, which was making me very nervous. Oh my goodness, I don't think that could be any louder. Biggest realization I had was that previous day's high, previous day's low is just high and low of previous daily candle. Exactly. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, AX. We were talking about you can call it a 3-day setup. You can call it a 3-bar pattern. You can call it a flying unicorn with a backpack. Like, it doesn't matter what you call it. It is what it is. Exactly what you just said. It's candlestick patterns essentially on a daily chart. 3 and 4 day patterns. No, Tony. I don't know if any of you all missed it, but I did take a trade. Hold on, let me make sure I'm telling you all accurately where I got in. I had to sit through a little bit of drawdown, which was unfortunate, but still worked out really well. Okay, so I got in. Jeez. Yeah, I'm trying to. Hold on. Can't get it to pull up. Anyways, I got in over here somewhere. In one of these 3 down closed bars. I don't remember which one. So I had to sit through a little bit of drawdown. Take the low of the day. I subtracted 50 ticks. Okay, so I got in. It wasn't one of these lower bars. It was in one of these. So I had to sit there a little bit here. And then on the follow through, I was adding in as that 1 bar was following through with stop positions, which was good. I didn't think. It was just I added in, and then I went straight down to hit take profit, and that was it. Okay, and looking at this, I should have done low of day minus 50 points and not, hold on, this isn't even the right chart. Because that's definitely not where I got out. I got out at 22,744. AX, I was looking at the low of current day, so not the previous day, which they were pretty close to one another, so they really didn't matter. But yeah, I got out at 22,743 was my exit. And that's on a futures chart. Okay, so it's looking like the thesis. We had a front side of a move. We had the lower low. So let's go. Yeah, this is good. Let's go over the trade again. How did we arrive at that destination? How did I get to execution? Could you move the mic closer? Man, I'm having mixed. Maybe I just need to talk louder. Okay. We're going to zoom out and we're going to, how did we arrive at this destination? Number one, when we were talking to one another this morning, this is what I could see. So let's go back here. 9:15. So about right here is when you and I started talking. All right, that's what we could see. So we've had multiple days of breakouts in one direction. This could be an extended run. This could be, realistically, overall, it's just a trend, right? We're making higher highs and higher lows, and that can be seen just by looking at previous days high and low. For example, I could remove these bars and say, hey, we're in a trend because when you look at the previous day's high, it keeps going higher. And when you look at the previous day's low, it keeps going higher. All right, so we're making higher highs and higher lows, higher high, and higher low. Okay, so we're in a trend up. So that tells me that there's a potential that this just keeps going up. All right, detail number one. Detail number two. So now I've established that the market is going higher. I need to ask myself, where did we close yesterday? Do I have a signal day yesterday that should tell me kind of what to look for today? We closed in breakout outside of a previous day's high, which tells me project that level across because the market only does three things. Now there's setups that are associated for both. If it was like breakout day one, for example, if it was the first day that we had broken out, I would look for a pullback and then a continuation. It could be even, breakout day two is fine as well. Going into breakout day 6 or 5 or whatever, probably not. So that only leaves one setup for me to really look for, and that would be the reversal setup coming off the high of the week. So then it's like, well, what do I want to see for that to take place? Number one, I don't have to see it, but it's nice to see when the front side of a move has been broken, which it has. Okay, so that's good. Okay, we've broken the front side of a move. The thing that I absolutely have to see is a lower low in the market. So on a 15-minute chart, we've made a higher high in Asia. Oh my goodness. And then we've came down and we made a lower low at 8:15 in the morning. So this fulfills a portion of my criteria that I have to see in order for me to take a trade. So then I go to a 5-minute chart for today, and I say, well, they've made a lower low. What do I need to see? I want to see them put in 3 pushes back up towards the high, and then I want to see them engulf and break down. So we start to do that. We get an engulfment, okay? What time was this? 9:15. Okay, so there's news at 9:30. Powell is speaking. I don't execute this trade. There's news at 10. I don't execute this trade. Number two, if it was the right time, did this bar allow shorts to get back into profit? No. There's still shorts trapped down at the low. Yeah, this guy, but they were never really trapped. So this bar really doesn't do anything. All right, we're into the open now, and we get a second down close bar that is broken out. We have a bar that is broken lower than this bar's low. There's still news at 10, so I still don't do anything. Now, this bar did allow this guy to start making money a little bit, which is good. Okay, but I'm still not executing because of the news. Then we get this bar, and now my thesis was, or my idea was, well, we've got two strong down close bars and two times where they've reversed strongly off of that low, trapping shorts, right? So they, from this point, could very easily just go up and the shorts would be trapped, right? This would be a shortened double bottom, and this would be the first pullback of that double bottom, and they would just continue to go higher, and that would have been fine. Then we continue on, and instead of continuing to make a strong parabolic run, we get a breakdown for a third time. We get the highest close in the move with an engulfment down. So now we have longs trapped here. How do I know that they're trapped there? It's because that's where the bars are closing, right? These strong up close bars are closing right there. So we've got longs trapped and we've got shorts trapped. So we're consolidating. Right. In my head, this is how I'm seeing things. We've got longs trapped, we've got shorts trapped, and then what needs to happen next? I need to see, there's the news. I need to see the shorts start getting let out of their positions. Everything in here, is fine and dandy, but the big thing is I've got a lower low. I'm looking for a short. I'm not willing to go long because that's not my playbook. That's not my setup that I'm looking for. I'm waiting for the shorts to get let out of their position. Okay, they're still not being let out. Okay, we get another drive to the high. So again, longs and shorts are still trapped in this area. Still nothing to do. Okay, now I have something to do. Because I'm looking for the short. We've got 3 very clear attempts to go higher. Now we have 3 very clear attempts to go lower. We've broken down. And we start to get follow through. And on the follow through, that's why I was adding in. Okay, that's why I was adding in. Because instead of immediately reversing off the lows and trapping me, they allowed me to make profit. Okay, so I added in. I added a couple more times as it followed through. And then I got out. This is not a futures chart, but 50 ticks below the low of the day. And ideally, or realistically, what I really should have done, and which I'm going to review, normally I use 50 points. And I should have used 50 points. 50 points outside of the low of the day. Either 25 to 50 points outside of the low of the day. And I would have hit take profit immediately. Okay. Break down, lower low, 3 pushes into the high. Wait until after the news. Wait for one side of the market to start making money again. I look to enter and take the trade. Okay. Now, also in hindsight, I kind of wish I would have. So number one, in my review process, I'm going to annotate. Number one, I did everything right. I did everything how I had planned to take the trade. I just didn't. Normally, I would do 50 points outside. I only did 50 ticks outside, so I was able to get in and then hit the low of the day and hold for 50 ticks, which is, I'm not going to complain about that. That's still really good. But 50 points would have been, 200 or 300 ticks. So I kind of missed out on a lot, but it's fine. That's fine. And then now, 10:48 in the morning, I get to go and eat some calories and lift as heavy as I can and enjoy the rest of my day, I think. Any questions about this trade? Did anybody else take the trade? Was anybody else able to see that in live time? You took gold? Yeah, gold was one that I just have no idea. Gold was one that I have no idea what's happening. I need to wait for a template because there was a template, or there is, and that was this right here. First green day, the trade happened in Asia. So all of this that's happening right now, this big up move, this is where the trade began, was right here. This is the level. Previous day's high. All right, we're broken out of previous day's high, but this is where I was supposed to take this trade. So all of this up here, it's irrelevant to me. The only other setup that I could have looked for according to my playbook would be the 3 sessions of breakout leading to a reversal. But most of you have probably heard me talk about this. Whenever you come off of a fresh bottom, or a fresh top, I should say, either way. When you come off of a fresh bottom and you've broken out like this and it's moving strongly, a lot of times I avoid those because most of the time it is just going to pull, kind of like it's done now, right? It's just going to keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. And I don't want to go against that. Compared to if this market had been going up for 3 or 4 weeks and then it behaved this way, I would say, hey, this is probably a blow off top. And now I can look for that setup. Take it easy, Mustang. Yep, Gaines, I'll be here tomorrow too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic stream. Finally got a trade in for you all and for myself. It was a good trade. I'm happy with that, and I'm very happy with my execution as well. It's nice to win the trade, but I think the most important part was my execution. Waiting until I was, much more sure about probability, right? Probability of success. Probability was very high because they started allowing those. We're in a down moving market, and the shorts were being allowed to make money. We're hovering just above previous day's low, which is can act as a magnet for the follow through. I think I saw it really well in live time, and I was able to execute accordingly. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be here tomorrow, same time, 9:15, ready to trade. Hopefully, we get some. I mean, this was a great trade and everything, but it's pretty ugly, if I'm being honest. Hopefully, we get something super nice and super clean to talk about tomorrow. But if not, we'll just keep on going through the week and until we hit a good template. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have a great rest of your day. I'm getting my workout in. I'm going to go eat me some food. I'll see you all tomorrow, 9:15, ready to go. Bye-bye.